Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today we have a very special video. But guys, since I'm traveling a little bit, there's gonna be no video today. But if you guys press that like button to the max, there'll be a face cam from tomorrow on forward, as usual, when I get settled in a little bit. Having said that, Grayscale is considering Vechain and IOTA as Coinbase lists for low cap altcoins. Grayscale added 25 tokens to the list of potentials, and that, guys, is very freaking juicy, and added AMP to his DeFi fund, while Coinbase listed 4 small projects. Okay, let's take a look. Grayscale, the world's largest crypto asset manager, has added 25 coins to the list of considerable coins, including Vechain, IOTA, Monero, and Axie. Some others include Algo and a couple of other coins that we really know and love, which is Juicy, Holo, and I guess Engine, Phantom. Here you can see the full list: Algo, AR, Atom, and so forth and so on, which I think is juicy because generally speaking, whenever they do add these coins, there's a very high probability that they're actually going to pump up a little bit. I don't want to speculate here which ones are going to come on and when it will happen, but just take it from me that there's a very high probability that when Grayscale does add one, there's going to be a little bit of a pump and an excitement from the market for that specific crypto, most likely. Again, not financial advice. Coinbase is the third largest crypto exchange in the world with nearly $4 billion in daily trading volume, and is listed for relatively unknown tokens, which a lot of people like me are kind of confused about. The 4 coins are Cryptex, Dia, Maple, and Unify Protocol DAO. Not really sure why, but by listing them, Coinbase is staying true to its word to make a lot more coins and tokens available in 2022, which they said. But honestly, I have absolutely no idea how this came to be. When asked how a small crypto project can benefit from such a listing, I think everybody can get why it would benefit from it. I'm just wondering how it got on there. Like, it's like a pump and dump type of thing, right? At least as far as I know. But again, it's very nice for Vechain that they're on the Grayscale list. And I'm hoping this puts a little bit more pressure on Vechain potentially getting on Coinbase. Why am I saying that? Well, there's actually apparently a list on CoinMarketCap as well. There's a watch list that somebody made, which is called Coinbase Potential Listings. And you can kind of see Hedera and Vechain are also at the top of the list right there because, well, there's actually a huge amount of people who see a huge amount of potential in Vechain and in Hbar and think it should be listed over on Coinbase. And I gonna be honest with you, I agree with that fully. I've been checking out Coinbase to kind of see what their policies are looking like nowadays. But the thing is, they have put up a lot of coins for consideration, and we generally speaking know that Vechain is on that list and they're looking into it and they're most likely going to get it on at one point or another. But the question is when, and that when is basically taking us a little bit too much time because we want to get it on there ASAP, but we're just going to have to wait it out. Same thing, I guess, for Grayscale, as they'll probably make a Vechain fund at one point or another, but this specific announcement doesn't mean anything just quite yet. It just depends on whether or not they're going to actually get it on. All right, then, of course they are. We must be protected from the 4 to 10% interest we can't receive from the legacy banking system. This refers to Celsius Network and Gemini, 2 crypto lending firms that are being investigated now by the SEC. You know why? Well, because this lending that they're doing is not really allowed. Well, from some perspective it is, from some perspective it isn't. The lending itself, depending on how it's done, is most likely fine, but depending on what type of token they use or what type of protocol and what type of idea that's behind it, it might not be following the US guidelines. We, for example, have seen AVA, which was just completely fine. The SEC didn't really make a problem out of it. But then when Coinbase tried to replicate that for USDC with a 4% yield, the SEC really came in hard with the subpoena and whatnot, with the heavy strike, so to speak. And so from that perspective, Celsius and Gemini and every exchange for that matter, even Binance and whatnot, Binance US, I don't know, I'm not sure if they offer earn, but it's basically waiting to happen because the SEC, of course, is quote unquote overreaching, but they're generally speaking just going to go for everything and everywhere So if you're if you're a crypto holder that's staking on one of these platforms, just be prepared for the U.S. to knock on their doors for a little bit to stir up some controversy. But generally speaking, if the project is not based in the U.S., I think the funds are going to be fine for any matter. It just might be annoying if you are in the U.S. and the exchange is in the U.S. or primarily operates there. But I'm using crypto.com, which I think will be fine. I use Binance, which I think will be fine. And I use decentralized protocols, which all will be fine, obviously. So if you're using a centralized protocol, make sure you always watch out at least a little bit. All right, then breaking news. Just a quick little announcement. New York's 5-star bank will allow customers to buy, sell, and hold Bitcoin through their internet bank accounts in a partnership with NYDIG. Another bank bends the knee. Just a small little announcement, not too crazy, but it's very important to keep ourselves updated with matters like this because, as you guys probably already understand, any bank that hops onto this or any major player that many people know, you can see this got 7,500 likes. I've seen a couple of articles talk about it, but I sometimes choose tweets just to show you guys the severity of announcements like this. And wow, that's a really big step towards the right direction. Do all these small steps, because let me actually rephrase that. I told you guys just now it's a big step, right? It's all relative. Is it really a big step in the right direction? Yes. Is it for everything that's about to happen a changing step or anything like that? And is it a step on the moon? No, not at all. It's just a nice step for this specific company in the right direction, but that's as far as I'd like to pull that thread as well. And then, guys, before we move on, ARK Invest. Ether's market cap could exceed $20 trillion in the next 10 years. Yesterday's head of gaming announced that he joined Ethereum-based Polygon. Here, Polygon's co-founder insights on the future of layer 2s at permissionless. There's ticketless. Well, you can buy a ticket if you want to. I'm not going to go there, or do anything with that. All I want to actually state here is ARK Invest is so extremely bullish on most crypto that their opinions on these matters don't really matter, but there is some validity to these claims in the sense that it's quite logical to be so bullish on crypto. I think it's actually very logical. Why? Well, because as of this point, crypto can just grow by, let's say, 50x or so pretty simply. I mean, I've told you guys before how I think that the entire space is going to go by times 300 over the next decades. It'll take, let's say, 30 years or so to get to that point. But I basically think that to get to a $20 trillion market cap can literally happen within the next 5 years, and to kind of upgrade to $100 trillion might be 20, 30 or further than that. But things can really move quickly once we start to see more and more adoption. And these are currencies that we're talking about. What basically is the biggest caveat is that there doesn't need to be a $1 billion inflow to get a $1 billion increase in market cap. There can literally be a $100 million inflow for a $10 billion increase in market cap. And that's the biggest point that people should remember, that it's not one-to-one, because this is literally wealth being created in that sense. And that's, again, where the wealth that people can, quote-unquote, spend comes from. You don't actually have to have it going in. Okay, guys, but before we move on, I want to quickly tell you guys about one of the newest partners of the channel that is called Cube. They're officially called The Cube, but you guys get my drift. And basically, this is the first launchpad out there that's going to be based on Sharia law, which basically means they're not going to be involving themselves with anything, quote unquote, illegal in that sense, like lending, borrowing, derivatives, loans, gambling, all that stuff. Point being, it's going to be a really interesting concept. Now, unfortunately, I was actually a little bit late to join the IDO because the IDO, I guess, ended a couple of days ago. I was just too late with acting, unfortunately, for my side. But, and this is very important, guys, the PancakeSwap listing is going to be the 28th of this month, and we're definitely going to be checking it out. As well, apparently it's multi-chain, so they have the Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum as of this point, but they also want to go for just, I guess, operating a decentralized exchange. I kind of wonder how that's going to be with their interoperability, what they're planning for that. They want to be the launchpad, which is generally speaking what I buy into every single time. You guys know it. Launchpads usually give me the best ROI if I can buy into them early. And so we're going to try get some good juicy crypto buys in for this project. Understand, guys, it's not financial advice, nor can I actually recommend you buy the second it launches, but we're going to take a good look to try buy this project early, as we can potentially make either a good flip or it could be a better project to hold for the project launching on there. And what we're going to really have to watch here in the short term is what type of project are going to launch. But there's a second thing. As they apparently are also going for the NFT space and going for a social platform. It's unfortunately still a little bit in the works, which I guess is logical because they're just launching right now. Then again, it's also unfortunate because I cannot show you guys the details of it. But apparently, that's what I kind of read from looking around here a little bit. The Cube, the beginning, they basically are going for a new first NFT drop in the short term as well. And here it says, collection fully represents the concept of a project. The Cube team adheres to a policy of anonymity, which is why we decided the characters of our collection should look secretive, basically. Since we want to unite the crypto community and plan to create a platform that will include what we think are the most trendy and necessary functions, we decided to point in our NFTs that the main modules united by chains surround the symbol of our project. So I guess the Cube is going to be everywhere in there. In total, will be released, and then there's 3 different tiers, 1100, 300, and 100. Honestly, not exactly sure how you can get these NFTs just quite yet, which is why I'm saying keep up to date, because if there's a way to get them for free, I'm going to definitely recommend you all to do it. And if you have to hold a couple of coins to actually get some NFTs, I'm not going to say buy for sure, but I am saying go ahead and look it up. And honestly, I'm personally pretty excited for what's going to happen with this because I just try to buy into every single launchpad out there, and generally speaking, it treats me very well. So once more, guys, go check it out. Do some research for yourself. Don't just trust me. Do some research, obviously, but make sure you check it out because it might do well. You never know. All right, Sharia-based, unique thing, and has a couple of, or actually quite a lot of different features. And then on the Ethereum front, Ethereum Foundation has phased out the Ethereum 2.0 moniker, clarifies its roadmap. So Ethereum drops the name ETH 2.0. Going forward, ETH 2.0 will be known as the consensus layer or its future POS beacon chain, while ETH 1.0, Ethereum's current proof of work, will be called the execution layer. The reasoning to unify the project and its development under a singular name of Ethereum. According to the ETH Foundation, the branding of ETH 2 generated some confusion among new Ethereum users, and I get that. The foundation explained that some users intuitively think ETH 1 comes first and then ETH 2 comes after. Others believe that ETH 1 will cease to operate when the network migrates to ETH 2, and the Ethereum Foundation has clarified that neither is neither, misunderstanding is accurate. Removing the terminology of ETH 2 will help future users navigate the confusing mental mode, which is true but also not true in the sense that they're calling it consensus and execution layer. Any person that was confused with the ETH 1 and 2 will have absolutely no clue what the consensus and execution layer are then, so I'm not exactly sure that they're really doing any clearing up. So I really firmly disagree. The foundation explains that both ETH 1 and 2 will be separate but integral components of the overall network known as Ethereum. Hence, phasing out the alternate names provides a more accurate picture and allows its content to reach a broader audience. Finally, the Ethereum Foundation believes that rebranding in this way will help users to avoid scams. Since ETH 2 was announced, malicious entities have subsequently tricked users into thinking they must migrate their ETH, resulting in loss and stolen funds. Now, why should you care? As Ethereum's migration to the POS mechanism draws closer, summer, when it's going to be pretty close, this rebrand is an important step to clear misconceptions around the network, which is true. And again, remember guys, I honestly think that this is going to be the biggest thing for Ethereum to date. And so it could also lead to one of the craziest pumps for Ethereum to date. And I'm not really sure why they talk about clarifying the roadmap, except for just stating that they're changing their name and that they want to go forward on only that note. But again, I'm pretty happy with this in the sense that they're thinking about their users. I'm pretty unhappy in the sense that it doesn't really clear up anything whatsoever. It's just a name change. You guys need to be aware of that. You guys need to know about it. But yeah, I'm not really too sure if it's going to really avoid any confusion. So I'm still most likely going to call it ETH 2 because that's what I'm used to right now instead of ETH consensus layer, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe, and I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video later today.